I'm just joking with you, And come over here and be like, well, yeah, she only shot her twice. Why are you tripping? You know what I mean? I'm a captain. Suppose he would have said something wrong to me. Now watch this. So yeah, and the thing I'm trying to get you to see here is that when we're thirsting for the blood, we have to be careful, because if we don't, then our blood becomes so tainted that all of a sudden you will have these things called generation curses. You have these things called soul ties that's unwanted. I'll show you something right quick. Turn me back to Hebrews. We're going to launch this real quick. I'm not going to hold you long. My daughter said to me, she said, Dad, you're not going to put me on blast this morning, are you? Because, Dad, I didn't come to church to be put on blast. I'm looking at my daughter like, if I want to put you on blast, I'll put you on blast. But my son didn't make it today. For all those who don't know, we're actually recording. And so my son normally do the recording. We download it on YouTube. But just so happens that she's on recording, so, I can't put her on blast this morning. But it's okay. God makes a way. Really want you to really get this, and some of your parents, there's going to be some fillers in here. We're going to just briefly go over cursory knowledge. We're just going to touch over some things. We already talked about the blood that is contaminated, how it works through your life, how it's the greatest trick. We already know that during this time, the blood was actually fed off the human and animals. I don't know how many people know that, but human and animals. And what really got me was that I got to go back. Sometimes we manage to grab a little bit of circular information, to add to our message. But in this movie, Twilight, there was a scene in there where one group of vampires said, we don't attack humans. We only eat animals. And another group of vampires said, well, we don't eat animals, we eat humans. But how many people know that whether you're biting on animals or, you bite on animals so it makes you seem more friendly. And how many people know that even though they need this particular blood to survive, and this is nothing new. This been going on since the beginning of time, where blood has always been used as a symbol, always been used to do atonement, or always been used for survival purposes. How many people know that if you run out of blood in your body, you'll drop dead? So we know how precious the blood is. Nevertheless, the bloodthirst through a curse will keep you in a sin for life, and it's unwashable. Forever to be tainted. I know it's very dark. I know it's dark. I know it's dark, but at the same time, I wanted you guys to understand that. We looked at Genesis. We looked at Genesis chapter 4:11. We looked at how being angry with your emotions and how your face expression can cause you to be able to go into a dark place that will cause you to get so aroused where you would find yourself doing something that you regret later. Now in Hebrews 9, I'll wake y'all up in a minute. I know it's a hot day out here. You're probably missing some things in the event, but in Hebrews 9, I'm going to summarize this a little bit for you. The blood sacrifice that was offered by the highest priest. It was a sacrifice, but it was unable to cleanse the conscious mind. The conscious mind. The blood sacrifice that back in the days, the priest, like I said, he'd grab the animal and people would bring it, and they'd bring it to the tabernacle, and they would do these things. But how many people know that back then it was more of a ritual? It was more of going through an act of something, but people still dealt with the same things every day. They still dealt with the problem. Even though they was going through the offerings and things like that, they were still dealing with the same problems every day. So the Bible says that there had to be something greater that had to come along, so then that way when I'm going through something in my mind and I'm thinking of this blood first, I'm saying to myself, well, my mind is telling me to do something else, but my heart, my soul is pulling me over here. I know that I should be over here, but somehow I'm having a hard time. I go to church, and not only when I go to church, I deal with the pastor, and I pay my tithes and offerings, and I get my praise on, and I'm doing all these different things, but when I leave out of the church door, I still feel weak. I still feel like there's something in me or something around me that still pulls me or gravitates me to do some things that I shouldn't be doing. Have anybody ever felt that way? Anybody? Now, watch this. Look at Hebrew, and I want you to look at something with me that would explain why you feel that way. And we're going to take it from chapter 9, verse 2. I want to show you something right quick, and hopefully this right here should help clear some things. For there was a tabernacle made, the first, within was the candlestick and the table and the showbread, which was called the sanctuary. Pretty much like what we have here today. Y'all with me so far? And after the second veil, the tabernacle, which is called the holiest of all, which had a golden censer and the ark of covenants overlaid round about with gold, wherein with the golden pot that had manna and Aaron rod that had budded the tables of the covenant. So even during this time, it was dressed up. It was dressed up. Like some church you go to, it's dressed up and has these stained windows or whatever, and the paintings and the mirrors and everything was dressed up. And you knew that when you walked into this place, you was in the place where God resides, and there's nothing that can ever go wrong here. You carry it on inside this place. And, during this time, they had the Ark of the Covenant. They had the ashes from the leaves and the rod of Aaron. They had it inside the Ark. And now, when these people left, let me finish. Now, when these things were thus ordained, the priests went always into the first tabernacle, accomplished the service of God. But into the second went the high priest along once a year, not without blood, which he offered himself, and for the